It is the Riot Podcast, Monday, May 15th edition.
Today we talked about, should you own a gun?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's more about fool me once, shame on you. Fool the Grizzlies twice. But I feel like this is more than just about owning a gun. This guy has a problem because he owns a gun. Like, he just can't handle it.
Yeah, we get into a real good gun debate about
John Morant.
John Morant, he's back in the news. I actually saw this, was it yesterday evening? And I just at home was like, this guy?
You're like, what you learn? You get paid $40 million a year to just be a good boy.
Just
and he can't
stop
do
it.
it. He can't figure it out. And that's the craziest part. It'd be one thing if he was just some everyday Joe, whatever.
Yeah.
But he's making $40 million a year, and he's gotten 2 warnings. That's just nuts to me.
And you know, I just feel bad because I always feel bad for the handlers, like the people that are probably managing his life.
Yeah.
And you know, they're screaming at him, like, stop doing stuff. Like, stop and get it together. He had to do all the counseling stuff for the last thing. Like, just knock it off. And then he's never probably stopped. This is just the first time that he got caught again. So
Can you imagine, like,
we cover that.
your mom, like, getting a phone call from your mom afterwards? She's like, what is wrong with you?
Yes.
Like, we grew up like very normal people. We didn't have millions of dollars. And now that you have millions of dollars, you're acting like an idiot. Like, my mom, oh my gosh.
She'd be
do feel
so
like
She
mad.
would kill me.
his
It'd be
mom
crazy.
is probably real upset. don't
She
you think?
has to be crazy
Yeah.
upset.
She
She'd be
probably-
like, she's like, I worked my whole life so that you could go and practice basketball, and then you went to the NBA and you're making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna throw it all away.
All right.
Oh, my mom would slap me upside the head.
Here's a question. How many millions of dollars, how much money would it take for you to not have a gun?
Oh,
Well,
To just not have one.
1 million,
Oh,
10 million, 20 million, however many you'll give me. Actually, I'll take.
but again, anybody else, you could have a gun and not have this issue. Like, this
You
guy
could.
just
True,
has a
but
big...
but not him.
How many millions would it be for you not to flash a gun on camera?
To have one and just not
Just
show it
don't
to people.
show it to people.
Well, then what's the point of having one?
Oh, exactly.
Why don't you text in your answer? No.
Yeah.
And listen to the details on him getting trouble again and just why everybody's frustrated.
We also talked about owning a hamster.
Oh. And how many millions would it take no, for you to have a hamster? And would you accessorize your hamster if you had one?
Did you guys have any weird pets?
Growing up,
You did, didn't you?
I always had dogs.
Do you have anything else?
I had a bunny, but it was only overnight. I found it and it had been bitten and then it died overnight. And my mom had to tell me in the morning.
You had a bunny for one night?
Yeah, it died. It wasn't going
Did
to live.
you found it and you brought it home and it died that night?
We found it in the grass and it had like 2 puncture wounds in it because something bit it. And we're like, no. So we went to a little pet store, got like bunny milk and all that stuff and tried and put it in a little box. And I remember sleeping next to the box. And then, you know, when your mom comes and wakes you up in the morning, you're like, it's not around. It didn't make it. It died.
It didn't make it through one night.
It was a little baby bunny. It was too injured.
Why didn't you take it to like the Humane Society or something? You
Oh,
know?
it was too late at night when we got it. Yeah.
They were keeping the bunny.
Well, yeah, I mean.
They weren't worried about that.
I
Mickey
thought
was
we
like,
could save
bunny,
it. Are you trying to guilt me like I could have done
you
more?
could have saved the bunny's life.
That
That's
was
what I'm
so
thinking.
little. Don't tell me that. Do not tell me that. That's awful.
What about you, Hudson? Do you have anything else?
I went through a few cats. We had Monkey. We had Blue.
You had a monkey?
No, his name was Monkey.
okay.
The cat.
I
The
was
cat
like,
was named Monkey.
I was like, please
This is
don't
the first
glance
cat.
over that.
My parents named him Monkey. My mom rescued him. I think. I can't remember which of the two she rescued, found by a dumpster outside of McDonald's or something. But because Monkey got his name because he would climb up like on top of the fridge and eat brownies and stuff like that. So,
and take stuff?
yeah, so that's and then Blue was named after Don Cherry's dog. He's a hockey
can we
commentator.
go back? Why were your brownies kept above the fridge?
Because we had a cat that was a monkey.
Okay.
So-
It wasn't like
you were hiding it from
couldn't
him.
have
Yes,
any, and so she hid them
It
from
was
you
not
guys.
that wasn't the first time that she'd been fooled by this mischievous cat.
I see.
But Monkey really affected me when he died. Then when Blue died, he got so old that I didn't care because I was also old enough to not
Yeah.
care.
That's sad.
And then there was Nibbler the cat who did not live very long.
You guys had a lot of cats.
That was the cat that nobody could agree on his name. It was my sister's cat. She called him one thing. My dad called him a different thing. I called him Nibbler from Futurama.
Dude, he was
We
ready to
never
get out of that
agreed.
household.
Yeah,
You
that's
guys
probably
were
why
messing
he
him
died
up.
such a young death.
Yeah. Please
and
don't
what
say
else
from
did we have?
brownies.
You guys have anything else? 3 cats.
3 cats.
No dogs.
You want to hear a
Didn't
story
have a dog till I got to move out.
about one of my dogs, though? Mm-hmm. Okay, you ready? Come closer. You know, I have a brother.
Yeah.
And so we had a schnauzer, a miniature schnauzer, and he was kind of like all of our stuff. But, you know, schnauzers have like the bushy eyebrows.
Yeah.
I remember one night my brother was awful. He cut off my schnauzer's eyebrows and got in so much trouble.
No way.
And because I thought like he could have poked his eyes out.
With what, like
Oh my
scissors?
gosh.
And we were really young, and my brother got in so much trouble, and my poor dog had no eyebrows for
That's
quite
crazy.
some time, and he was just like always looking around.
Oh my gosh.
He always
That's
looked
nuts.
startled.
Yeah. Wow.
He couldn't have a dog after that for a while.
Yeah, I can imagine. He wasn't allowed to be alone with the pups after that.
Oh, I remember having pets when we were young.
Yeah, I don't think I had any. I mean, I can't top that. I don't think I had any other pets. I mean, maybe fish for a short, when I was very young, for a short period of time.
Well,
but
that was it.
that
I
was
had
it.
one cat when I was little. His name was Mr. Crackers. He was a barn cat. And it turned out that it was actually Mrs. Crackers because she had a bunch of kittens when I was little. And then once she had the kittens,
Oh, so was there a Mr. Crackers?
there was somewhere in the field. Somewhere in the field there was, but we didn't know where. But then after Mrs. Crackers had all the kittens, then my family decided to relocate her kittens and her to like a farm somewhere. So we didn't get to keep them.
Because that happened?
Yeah, because she said that it wasn't a good place for them. I guess.
Oh, my.
They need to be in a farm. I guess I don't know what.
Upstate?
I was like 7 at the time, so I don't really know what happened. But there were kittens, and I saw them all.
You know-
and Mrs. Crackers was in good health when she left.
Mrs. Crackers, it was just an accident.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to punish her.
And so she went and lived at a farm because they always said they'd be happier there. I don't know what happened. I need to ask my parents about that.
Yeah.
But
We need the full story.
That was from the age of like 0 to 7, probably. I had that cat. We never had an inside animal. We always had the pigs. We did pigs every year. And so we'd have a rotation of
pigs all
Yeah.
time.
I forgot I had 2 turtles.
Ooh.
Really?
And the turtles were surprisingly resilient.
And what did you do
Were
with
you
them?
trying to?
It's just that, like,
They live long, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't always great at cleaning out their cage. Their tank. The filters just get so nasty so quick. And so sometimes the water get pretty icky, and believe it or not, it's still cleaner than pond water. So they somehow still manage to survive quite a long time.
I saw on a turtle TikTok.
Yeah.
Some people bury their turtles during the winter. They like go underground and they hibernate under the ground.
No
and then
way.
the turtles will come back up in the springtime. They'll dig themselves out.
How do you know, though, like, when this turtle's going to dig himself out so you can catch him so he doesn't run away?
Some
Keep
people
an eye
will, like
peeled.
some people will just start the process and kind of like get it close and then know
Coax
like
them out.
Yeah, within a few days they'll wake up and they'll come out.
Wouldn't that be so cool if you could just, like, bury yourself and sleep for months at a time?
It'd be nice.
And come back. I mean, they save money on like food and stuff, I guess. I don't know
Yeah.
how much turtle food costs.
So you
or how much
only-
they could possibly eat.
Not a lot.
You
I
would
didn't
only
think
have
so.
to have a turtle like half the year.
And it probably, and you know what? Every time the winter ended and they came back, it would be like a whole new turtle. You'd be so
Yeah.
excited. You'd be like, oh my gosh, Frankie, look who
back.
it is. He's back. And then you'd be excited for like the first like 2 months he's there. And then by the end of the summer, you put him away. Then you have your little break. And then by the time he comes back, you're like, oh my gosh, Frankie, I'm so excited.
Perfect.
It makes a turtle an exciting pet because if you didn't put him in the ground for 6 months, it would not be an exciting
Well, I
pet.
thought
No,
it was
what's
a lie
kind
at first. I was like, why are you burying the turtle? Did he
Yeah.
die? And no, they hibernate like that. But
fun-
again, guys, it's almost 9 minutes. We must go soon.
Well, the fun part about having a turtle is when you feed it live fish, though.
Can't have that.
That was kind of cool watching it chase them around. And you wouldn't think a turtle, they're not known for being very fast.
But
That's
they
enough for
are.
being slow, I heard.
Fast enough to catch a fish.
They can swim fast.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Fast enough.
that's Turtle Riot Talk. So that's it for that. Make sure you join us and text us at 877 Radio U. What was your first pet? What did
Good
you
question.
have? And what was their names too?
Yes.
In case you
Text
had a
that in, and there's definitely other stuff in the podcast, but we'll talk to you next
In
time.
case, did you have a Mr. Crackers?
Mr. or Mrs.
Whichever one. Have a good day.
See you guys.
Hey, they're already eating anyways. Might as well do it on the show. The Riot with Nikki and Hudson. Radio U.
AMC, the theaters. You still got that stock?
In AMC?
Yeah.
I
to
don't
the
think
moon.
so.
That stock the AMC's stock has taken a dip since then, I'm pretty sure. And so they are working, as many theater companies are, on trying to figure out how to make some money since you can't do it off of the actual movies anymore. It's very difficult. AMC's new strategy is they are launching their very own candy brand.
Now, this is coming off of them launching their own in-stores popcorn, where you can buy the movie theater popcorn.
Which makes sense.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Especially during COVID, they realized they used to have like certain theaters where you could go up and still buy.
The concessions were open.
Concessions, because they make a lot of money that way. And then they realized not all of us are going into theaters. So how can they still be out there with us?
Yeah, they needed some way to supplement their income. So their side hustle is selling popcorn in the grocery stores. But this is way different. This is their own candy brand that you'll be able to buy when you actually, it's not going to be in stores. It is going to be only at the theater.
Oh.
You go to AMC, you can either buy a Reese's, because they say they're still not going to ditch all the other candy brands, or you could buy AMC branded whatever it might be.
I would like to know what the candy is.
They're like making new candy.
Well, I think it's just their takes on it.
Yeah.
You know?
So
like their version of Skittles.
Got it. It's like a Kroger branded version of stuff.
Pretty much.
Exactly that, yes.
Got it. Walmart version, Great Value version, AMC version.
The type we all love.
Is that because then it's cheaper for them to sell their own branded candy?
That's 100% right. They say that that the price of some wholesale candy, the candy that they sell from their suppliers, has gone up as much as 33% in recent years. And so because they're losing out, they're still going to keep ordering that, but because they're losing on profits they could be making on that, they're now going to be making more profits off of their own brand.
Interesting. That's a clever take on that.
It is.
I think it's funny, too, that they're talking about like how it'll be cheaper because like their prices are already like twice as much as what you can get at the gas station.
Yeah.
Don't get confused, though. Their prices are not going down.
Yes, they're the same. It's just a larger margin.
That's
and
it.
Hear this. They're going to sell, I can guarantee, they'll sell whatever this new stuff they're making is at the current price that they're selling all the other candies that you actually like, and then they're going to increase the price of all the other candies that you actually like.
Yeah,
so then
to
it's
get
like,
you.
oh, look, it's the deal to get the AMC Pop-Tarts or that's not candy, but whatever.
That's your choice?
That was what I was
Pop-Tarts,
thinking.
that's what you came up with?
At the movie theater, I just love to have Pop-Tarts.
Listen, you would want like,
Yeah.
AMC Raisinets are the best.
Yeah.
Raisinets.
Raisinets.
I like
That's what
Raisinets.
you go with?
That's sometimes what
You
I
guys
would
could
go
have said
with.
like Snickers, and everybody in the audience would have been like, yes.
Yeah.
You said Raisinets and popcorn.
They don't have the audacity.
Pop-Tarts.
They don't have the audacity to try to make their own Snickers or Reese's, though. Even they have to know. Nobody would buy that.
Yeah.
I want them to try it.
Yeah. Maybe,
I'd be more likely to try that, honestly.
maybe it'd actually be really good.
No, I bet you they'll
guess.
just go with the nerds knockoff sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I would go for a discount nerd and give it a shot.
Well, then
So-
AMC has said that their own candy brand, which is only going to be in theaters, but I could totally see if they branched out and started putting that out.
No, it's not going to be that good.
Well, of
What are you
course
talking
not.
about?
But sometimes when we're not trying to spend as much money, something not so good is just exactly what we're looking for.
True.
And then when you had it at the grocery store, it would feel like you're getting even more of a deal.
Yep.
Because it'll be like half the price it would be at the movie theater.
But we're still not going to the movie theater.
Not AMC.
The words too expensive aren't in Nikki's vocabulary. This is The Riot. Radio U.
I've got some Shein finds for you guys. You ready for this?
So Shein being the fast fashion, cheap clothing thing.
Some say cheap. Others say affordable.
No, I think everybody agrees.
Others
It's cheap.
say a great deal.
Or cheap quality for some stuff.
Well, we can't all be, fashionable like you.
No,
We
no,
can't
no.
all be luxury like Nikki.
No, but I feel like there's been a few of my friends that have been worried out of your big purchase. What will give you a rash?
What's going to actually fit you?
Exactly.
Well, I've got good news that the Shein finds I have here wouldn't give you a rash, probably, but they might give it to your hamster. Have you seen all the hamster accessories that you can get on Shein?
Like clothing and
All
stuff?
right, pause before we continue.
What?
It's Sheen.
No.
It's Sheen. And
It's
it's Sheen.
Shein.
It's Shein.
It's Sheen.
It's Shein.
Guys, it's Sheen.
Do I need to show you their Twitter account?
Oh,
I don't care what it says.
It is
It's
Shein.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just saying, when I talk to people every day, everybody says Sheen, but you guys can call it Sheehan. You guys can continue.
Everybody says it probably wrong.
Yes,
fine.
you're right. It's important for us as broadcasters and professionals to say it correctly. And
Okay.
all of your friends can say it however they want.
And you're going to call it Sheehan. That's fine. You can continue.
I will let you guys say Reese's, but on this show, we
We will
pronounce it
not.
Sheehan.
Sheehan is fine, but I'm going to call it Sheen, but that's okay. Continue.
All right. On Shein, you can get hamster clothes, including I've found hamster glasses,
Aw.
hamster shoes. You could get a hamster, like a dress for your hamster, sweaters, hats. Also, it doesn't stop there, though. I can also find you a shopping cart for your hamster to sleep in.
Oh, they're so cute. There's like a banana hammock
Oh, you
and a
can't
little
say that
sweater.
on the radio. It's not a little
okay.
raunchy.
It's a.
What are you going to say next? Cod piece?
No, it's actually a little banana with the top peeled off, and then the thing can go in there. It's got little slippers for your hamster to wear.
a strawberry sweater.
Oh, these are cute.
Would you put a hamster in any of this stuff?
If I had a hamster,
Does it make you want to get a hamster just so you can dress it up like your little doll?
I think hamsters. It's hard to have hamsters. So.
I think a hamster is kind of a silly pet.
It's a silly pet.
I think it's kind of a silly pet.
It's always for when you were younger and your parents wouldn't let you have the responsibility of a dog. So you got a hamster.
And so then you convince yourself you wanted a hamster,
All
and you're
along.
like, and your parents are like, why would you want a hamster? What are you gonna do with a hamster?
It feels like hamsters are so low maintenance, though.
But what would you do with it? I think it's just a silly pet because it's like
You
having
dress it up.
It's like having a goldfish. Like, what are you gonna do?
strawberry.
You know?
You
It's
can't
in
dress up
between
a
that.
goldfish.
I did see someone who did a pretty well-received TikTok where it's like the cheaper version of American Girl doll.
Okay.
You buy all those things like
Canadian
Walmart.
woman?
No, like Walmart and Target have
Okay, yeah.
generic brands. So you buy the doll furniture and then you put it in your pet's enclosure. So they have like a living room and stuff.
And that was received positively.
Well, it looked really cute.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It looked spectacular. It looked better than our first places.
I think if you
Sounds
get
kind of weird.
if you get a hamster, you could dress it up and then like send it through mazes or something, and you could do a whole like theme with it. And I think that would go pretty well online too.
I just thought they always died like in random places at random times.
Yeah.
So it'd be bad
Or-
if you dressed them up in their finery
We
and
also,
then they died in the maze.
I guarantee this is what would happen because I know friends this happened to. All three of us have dogs.
Yeah.
If any of us got a hamster, somehow
the dog.
particularly Jim, would find a way, not to necessarily meaning to harm the hamster, but it would want to play, and then it would get the hamster, and then it'd be
It'd eat the hamster.
trouble.
Yeah, it would be.
So,
Okay, so that's a no,
probably not for
Isaiah,
us.
on the
I would lean no,
hamster clothes.
only because I don't want a hamster.
But if
But
you,
the clothes are cute
Imagine, though, the tiny Shein bag that comes to your house. It's a very tiny bag.
and very tiny little
the
bag.
reviews for these are through the roof, by the way.
And then you
I
tell
bet.
They
you
are
tell your
5
delivery
stars.
driver, you're like, listen, this is like 10 outfits. I don't know how they get it in there. It's cute.
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
Now, I have here the list from the Social Security Administration. They put out the most popular names of 2022, the baby names.
Yeah.
And I could give you the top 10, but the top 10 often doesn't change very much. In fact, Liam is the number one boy's name. It's been that way for 6 years. And in the girls' names, Luna is the only new name in the top 10.
Oh,
That's
really?
crazy because
I know.
that's in the top 10 of dog names too.
I know. So I was thinking,
Wild.
I thought the
You
same
weren't
thing.
supposed to notice that.
Oh,
When
weird.
really it gets down to it, it's all the same names.
But what's interesting, of course, is that looking at the high rising names, the names that are shooting up the charts, and for boys, see if you get the theme with the boys' names that are rising up: Dutton
Dutton.
and Case.
Oh,
I know,
geez.
I know from Dutton.
Yeah.
So that's Yellowstone.
So is Case.
It was Case also?
Yeah.
Dang, so those went from, because those you said are high risers.
Yeah.
So in 2021, did those like 3 kids were named that, and now we're at like 9 or something?
That must be the case.
No, it's embarrassing because it just means if you ever meet kids like 20 years from now, they're all going to have Yellowstone names.
Yeah. Oh, your parents are real into Yellowstone,
You can
huh?
tell what your parents were into watching.
Which is wild to me because, I mean, maybe I'm way off on this. I didn't think the majority of the people watching Yellowstone were of childbearing age.
But they're getting probably close to it.
Oh, they are. I thought it was just an old people show.
Oh,
no,
no.
Yellowstone is not at all.
Oh,
It's not?
no.
People love Yellowstone. A lot of my friends love Yellowstone.
I thought
It's
that
a-
was like a dad thing.
Oh, no, it's
No.
a total trend thing.
Yeah.
And
it's
then-
really in right
which is
now.
why the sequel was with Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. I was like, oh, this is for your parents.
No,
No.
it's very,
okay.
very popular.
All right. If you're
Hudson, it
young
was a
and
show you could watch with your dad.
right before it was time to make some babies.
yeah. Ugh.
That's what's going on here.
There you go.
Other names that were rising up for the boys' names. Chosen.
One of my personal favorites.
You should have, you can pick any name when you get into radio.
I know.
Why didn't you choose Chosen?
I chose Isaiah.
You could have had Chosen.
I could have named myself anything, but
If
I chose
you were
this
a
fake
DJ
name.
and your name was Chosen, I feel like that is a bit presumptuous.
You don't think everybody would hate me?
I think it would be hard to
But
get
what
over
if it
that.
was your
Wild as-
actual name?
It'd
Nobody
be
would-
wild to name your kid that. That's what I think. I wouldn't use that as a fake name, oddly enough. But you name yourself whatever you want.
I think if your parents sincerely named you Chosen, that was your given name, and then you got into radio, I think they'd be disappointed. I
Might
think
wanna
they're
change that.
when they name you Chosen, they're expecting more than radio.
Well, when they name you Chosen, they assume you're gonna choose whatever you want. I assume that's what they're gonna call you.
No, it just
Chose.
means they have real high hopes for how you're going to
yeah,
act.
seriously.
Very high hopes.
Some of the rising names for girls. Is this from Yellowstone as well, or is there no explanation for why Renly
Renly?
would be
I don't know.
the top rising name?
I haven't watched enough Yellowstone to know any except Dutton.
Yeah, I don't know what Renly. That's an interesting choice. There's also Naraya, Arlet. Here, it's our little baby girl, Arlet.
Listen, it doesn't mean we like the names.
No.
They're just there.
It doesn't, but you know what? I also you name your child whatever you want.
How about Georgina?
Georgina?
That's one.
Making a comeback. That's for the first time probably on the list since like 1850. I'm
Well,
pretty sure.
It looks like none of our names are on the list, so it's good to not be popular.
No, yeah, my name was rising up the list in previous years, and then something happened where it's been dropping like a rock.
You were so popular that they're like, oh, no one else could possibly be a Hudson.
I don't know.
I think they just replaced it with Chosen. How does that make you feel?
I don't blame them.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
I've got a post here that is dividing the internet, as they posts so often seem to do. This one, it's an office fridge in the UK. It's full of milk. There's several different milk jugs, which makes sense. In the UK, they drink tea like mad, right?
And you add milk to tea.
And they add milk to tea. So everybody has to have their own personal milk at many offices, right? So they can doctor their tea.
It's probably similar to like if you go to our fridge, we have, 3 or 4 different versions of creamer. It'd be the same.
Yeah. And so one of these containers of milk, though, it seems that one of the workers had gotten tired of people stealing their milk because they actually put a full-on padlock on the milk
Yeah,
to try to prevent thievery.
sure.
Now, some are saying that's a little petty. It feels a little showy and, really, do you need to do that just for your milk? But then others are coming to the defense of this worker saying it's never petty to try to stop somebody from stealing from you. So where do we stand on this?
Well, I think if you've ever had roommates, you're all for the locked milk.
The padlock?
Yeah, or if you've ever worked in a big enough corporate environment where people just take your stuff, especially nothing is so passive when they'll just take a little of your liquid item.
Yeah.
A little at a time
Because
every
you
day.
think you can get away with it.
Exactly. That's very, very common.
Yeah. You're the milk drinker here.
I
Would you ever
am,
do
yes.
this? Would you ever do this?
I would never do this here. I just write my name on everything
Yeah, but
because people constantly steal from me.
See, that's what I was
Because
thinking
I'm the
about.
only one who brings food in it.
That's what I was thinking about this person is, I don't think they just went from somebody stole milk one time to padlock.
Oh, no, that's overtime.
They've
Yeah.
gone through all of the other normal avenues you would go through. They wrote their name. They probably put a note on the fridge of like, hey, or sent out an email and
Yeah.
or raised it to the higher ups, to some kind of HR or something. they went through every avenue until finally they had no other recourse
I'm
except
going to look and see how
padlock.
much a milk lock is.
I know. I was looking up. It's you can get it. It's called Udderlock.
Yeah.
Underlock.
Yeah.
Clever.
Because apparently this is a common issue in the UK, or at least people think it is. Because that's the thing. You could also suspect somebody stealing your milk, but because they probably take such a small amount, maybe it's all in your mind.
Yes, it could all be in your mind. And I think, too, like milk, it all just depends. If everybody has milk in there, then it's not something you would share. But like in our fridge, we would for sure share milk.
Well,
Like if I bought a gallon of milk,
Yeah.
I would not be upset about somebody taking a glass of it.
but maybe they like their particular type. It was a semi-skim milk is what they call it. So if you're the only one who drinks the one type
Yeah.
of milk, maybe
That's
you
a
have
good point.
a diet or just a personal
And there's all these
preference.
different milks in there, too.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. There's all the different, you can see the different cap colors, so you know they're different percentages.
So someone's
probably.
just trying to steal that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they should have, well, no, I'm not even going to suggest that because I know that wouldn't work.
Well, why don't you just have your own little mini fridge, put in your office, and put your milk in there?
Yeah.
Now people will come in there and get it
And
too.
still
you know
steal
that.
it?
Yeah, you know
They'd
that they
find a
would.
way.
You'd have to put a padlock on the whole fridge.
Well, I thought the lock to your office door would be enough, but
Yeah.
maybe not.
Never is.
Your For You page would be a lot more fun if it had Hudson, Nikki, and Isaiah. Follow at RadioU Official on TikTok. The Riot. Radio U.
Time for our Monday tradition, the box office breakdown.
Did anybody take their mom to a movie over the weekend?
That's
Anyone
a good question.
listening?
It wasn't me, but I will tell you that it looks like the question was no, why can't I say this? Book club.
Yeah.
The book club next chapter. How much money would that make?
That was a
for
movie that
Mother's
came out
Day?
over the weekend.
It's the sequel to Book Club. It stars a bunch of elderly women, Jane Fonda. Really names probably your grandmother would know more so than your mother. But how would that do this weekend? Would you guys like to take a stab?
10 million, 15 million,
17 million.
17 million.
Wow, you
20
guys
million?
are optimistic about Book
They
Club.
pushed that thing hard, and I think some people could have
Didn't
just
you
been,
say like a lot last weekend?
Oh, they did. I feel like people could have been confused and accidentally went to it.
Didn't you say like a really high number on Friday? Because you said, well, they're making a second one, so obviously the
I
first
don't
one
think
did
I
good
said
enough.
a number, but
You said a big number.
I don't think I said a number, but it did wind up in third behind the two major movies, of course, Guardians and Super Mario Brothers. It made over $6 million.
Ooh, that's low.
But it's what were you, I guess that is low based off your expectations, isn't it?
That's very low. So
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, again, was number one with $60.5 million. And then the other Chris Pratt movie, Super Mario Brothers, still strong at number two with $13 million.
Christine, is that her name? Christine Bergen? Mm-hmm. Just not enough to overcome Chris Pratt, unfortunately, in the box office.
The
this
king of the
week.
castle right now.
I know.
Yeah.
He's got it. He's top. Like, he'll be I said it already, he'll be the Tom Cruise Top Gun of this summer.
Yeah.
Like, these will be the two main movies we'll just have back
saving
and
the-
forth.
Wait, doesn't Mission Impossible come out this summer? So I think Tom Cruise is the Tom Cruise of this summer.
No, I think
Is that this summer?
I thought they
it has
moved.
to be.
No, those will never come out.
It has to be. It
They'll
has to be
never,
this summer.
ever come out.
Okay. While you look that up, Nikki, did you watch anything this weekend?
I almost watched Air. I came so
That's
close.
what it's come to?
I came so close to it.
Actually, that's pretty good for you as almost watching
It
something.
is. I almost watched that.
All right.
I had full intentions to yesterday, but I ran out of time.
July 12th.
July 12th?
Mission Impossible 7.
Of
That's
this
right.
year? Okay.
Yeah. What did you watch? Anything, Isaiah? Or did you just
no,
make
I
cherished
did.
memories with your mother? Or
No, I watched Ice Age 2.
Wow.
I watched that Saturday night.
I don't think there's
Really?
anything wrong with that.
Really?
It would have been better than Book Club.
Had to stay up for that one.
I did. I watched the whole movie. I went to bed at about 3:30.
Which one is the second one?
That's the one where they're like fighting the ape. If you remember.
No, I guess
It's not
I don't.
very memorable.
Apparently, I don't.
I watched it and I didn't remember seeing it before, but I definitely have.
It is just, again, one of those movies you just have on and there's no condemnation for that.
Yeah, I just came home and I was scrolling through Disney Plus and I was like, you know
And
what?
you
This
chose
seems like
that.
a good late night movie. And then it was good
Guess
enough
it
to where I
was.
stayed up.
Guess it was.
I watched the whole thing.
See, I watched the first episode of Muppet Mayhem, and
Boy, our choices are bad.
it was pretty good.
add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Have you seen the 13-year-old girl from Florida who fought off a shark attack?
No, she did?
Yeah.
Good for her.
13 years old. Her name is Ella Reed. She was sitting in shallow water on a Florida beach, hanging out with a friend, when up from nowhere comes a shark that bit her on the stomach.
They think it was like a 5 to 6 footer shark.
They say she believed it was 5 to 6 feet. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I trust her.
Well,
I
they
mean,
can usually tell by the bite marks.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how they measure it.
Then why did they ask her? How big,
Well, I'm sure they wanted her interpretation.
how big did you think the shark that bit you was? I don't know, 5 to 6 feet. It was hard to get a good gauge because it was trying to kill me.
It was biting her.
I was fighting for my life.
Did she punch it in the nose? Is what you're supposed to do.
She did. She punched. She must have heard that somewhere because she went ahead and punched it, and that was enough to get it away from her long enough so that she and her friend could make an escape. But she did need 19 stitches when it was all said and done.
Oh, that'd be scary.
That's tough, but what a story, though. Would you guys get bitten by a shark just for the story?
You mean like because then everybody be like, oh, you always have this saying that
Yeah,
you're.
especially if you got a scar from it.
I don't know.
How quickly do I recover?
And how many stitches? Like
And what
19.
month is it? What month is it?
Similar. This 13-year-old girl survived from it. So I think you guys are going to be fine.
But listen,
Is it worth the 19 stitches for the story?
I think if it's like October, yes. If it's May, no.
Because you don't want to show the scars?
No, because it's summertime and I've got things I want to do. But if it's like October for the winter, I'll be at home in the wintertime in like a wheelchair or something for a little bit. That's fine. But I'm not ruining my whole summer.
I don't think she needs a wheelchair.
She got bitten by a
bit her on
shark.
the stomach.
I mean, I feel like there's going to be some complications to that.
Well, a lot of times you have to wait till you can go back into the water again.
Ooh.
Can she
mostly, and then
tan?
also like because of the stitches and stuff.
Can she run around? There's lots of stuff she wants to do this summer.
I think, okay, here's a picture you can see of the actual bite. That's before they stitched it up.
Well, is this impressive or not? All right.
I'm saying.
Is it a big deal or not?
I'm saying we're all talking about it now. It sounds like it's a huge. I mean, it is
a
crazy
big
to get
deal?
attached by a shark, but I feel that it might not actually be as bad as you think it is because she doesn't need a wheelchair. She can still run around.
Well, then
and enjoy
why are
her
we talking
summer.
about a dog bite on the air? If somebody got bit by a dog and they fought him off, I'm not talking about that.
It depends on the bite. I mean, she's very fortunate, but
Yeah.
imagine if the one time you were out there, it was a bigger shark, or it bit you in an area where you bleed out or something.
Yeah, it could be bad, but I'm saying if I'm her, I think this is going
pretty
to
tough
be
now.
valuable for the rest of your life.
This is from this moment
This
on.
is your Letterman jacket.
That's in your,
That's your thing.
college letter, like to try to get into
You
college.
survived the shark attack.
You're putting that in absolutely everything.
So, yes. So the point I'm making is worth it.
Maybe.
But don't you think she'll have PTSD?
Probably.
I don't
Like going
know.
into the water
Do you
again?
think you would have PTSD?
If I got bit by a shark in the water,
If you
I'd probably be nervous for a while to go back
you
in.
You called it a dog bite. If you got bit by a dog, would you be afraid of dogs forever?
I would say if it was a pretty serious one, I would be kind of tweaked out about it.
But how many experiences with dogs you already have where they haven't bit you?
It takes one bad one to make
If I
you
got
nervous.
attacked by anything, I would be nervous going up to it a second time.
I think that's, I understand, but at the same time,
You don't understand
it's worth
PTSD,
it.
clearly.
It's worth it. It's
You're
worth
just
it.
wanting
I'm not
a shark
saying the
to bite
shark
you?
bite isn't worth it, but
I'm going to the beach a couple times this year. I'm seeking out sharks. I'm going to cut open an open wound and let it bleed into the water so that one will bite my ankle. I
We
can get a
won't see you
story
after.
in the news.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
And Nikki, I have a show that was recently brought to my attention by a friend of mine. It's called Wizard of Paws. Have you seen this?
No, but is it a dog show?
It is. It's an animal show.
Okay.
Wizard of Paws is a guy who goes around and he will basically just make up different apparatuses for animals
Yeah.
that aren't able to get around easily. You know,
Oh, so like,
if it's like a dog with one missing leg or something, I don't even know if he would do that because. But yeah, and just all different kinds of animals. Sometimes it's an animal he's never seen before, and not like, oh, I've never seen a cow, but like I've never dealt with a cow that can't walk completely or whatever.
They need something.
Yeah.
Well,
and
how have I not seen
I
this?
know. There's several seasons I looked up, so
I feel like I would cry with this. So
I think it might even be
it.
Disney Plus available, some of it. So maybe check into it.
Because isn't it like, what was the old show, Wizards of Waverly Place?
I don't know if there's a tie-in.
I bet there is.
Is Selena Gomez involved in Wizard of Oz? I don't believe so. She was in Wizard of Waverly Place, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so there actually was. I looked it up. There was one where this guy takes a cow who can't walk at all, no, as in paralyzed, all four legs, quadriplegic, I guess you would call it, and he makes a lift for this cow so they can move it around.
Is that the new episode called Super Cow?
That sounds like it.
I'm looking up the
that
episode
sounds like
stuff.
it. Yeah, that's what I saw.
The one before was about a little piggy.
Oh, I knew you would. I'm surprised you haven't seen this.
I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, add it to your queue.
You said it's Disney?
Yeah, but and as I haven't watched all the episodes. It's just something I've seen. But as I think about it, you'd have to be like a pretty heartless person, right? You see like a dog that can't walk, and you're like, well, nobody would be like, well, let's get rid of that dog. Maybe some people with the cow, like a farmer's mentality of like, look, it's going to be more work, more resources for me to take care of this cow than the cow's going to provide. So maybe that's the argument of like, I don't know about the cow. But as shown in the cow show, the cow can also have more uses than you might think. Just because it can't walk doesn't mean that it's useless. And I say all that to say this. I think that we can learn a lot from that. Because many times we might feel like we're the useless ones. Like, oh, I have this thing that actually makes me not worth anybody's time, not worth actually being around or whatever. And that's not the case. And additionally, just like that cow can actually have some kind of use when somebody just puts in the love and work with it, that's what God can do for you. Jesus sees you and he's like, well, it would be a race to resources for me to actually, deal with this guy.
The time to fix or help.
Yeah. So, if he can't fix himself, if he's not able to do this or that, then I guess worthless. That's not how Jesus sees you. No matter what your ailments, no matter what your difficulties that you've gone through, the stuff that plagues you in your life, no matter what it is, you're not worthless. God loves you and God's willing to put in the work to make your life something, to make you feel better about yourself, to make you feel loved. Jesus can do that for you. And it happens really instantly. All you need to do is ask for it. Say, hey, God, I want to know more about that. I know I've got some stuff that feels like it makes my life kind of not that great, but I want you to show me something different. And he will. If you want to know more, RadioU.com/free gift.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
I don't know if you guys got to see the video going around over the weekend from the Little League baseball game where, of course, if you played Little League baseball, if you've been around it, you've probably seen a parent get a little too animated, get a little too upset, go after the umpire a little bit, verbally.
Yeah.
Sometimes that parent is the coach. And then very, very rarely you get an instance like this where the coach doesn't just go after the umpire verbally. He goes after him physically.
Oh, and this is Little League, you said.
It's Little League.
They're fighting.
And there's two umpires going with one. It's like a real tournament. And so it's two umpires, and then they've got one coach, and the coach is arguing with them all the way to the point of the coach tackles one of them, kind of suplexes him to the ground.
He does that sort of like he's chest bumping him, like, come on. And then they just start fighting.
And just looking like a fool. Some people are saying the team should have got kicked out of the tournament. I don't think that's fair. It's not
the team's fault.
It's not the 11-year-old's fault. But, I mean, this coach should never be allowed to coach again. Anytime you have 11-year-olds breaking up a fight with adults, that's a sign that you've made a fool of yourself.
Now, Isaiah, you know how you want to get a viral video? Like, how fun would that be?
This would be a good way.
What if you get your softball team one time to reenact this whole thing.
And I attack a referee.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be
But you're not
troublesome.
really doing it. Like, you could even take the audio.
But you're saying
from
make it
Yeah.
fake.
Make a fake one.
This
Make a
doesn't have
fake.
audio with it, unfortunately.
I think you could make audio.
I could just fake it.
Yeah, you could.
So you're saying the best way to get viral is just by doing fake stuff?
But
It's
people.
copying this, so it's like a tribute.
It's a tribute.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're saying like a remix of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just for
pretty
fun,
much.
just like overact it, sort of
it
over
wouldn't-
exaggerate.
It wouldn't be the best video in the world, but it would be a tribute.
It'd be a tribute, yes.
I think it could be. It's a good.
If we
idea
can't go
for them to-
viral on Radio U, you think I'm gonna be able to make a viral video?
With your softball team?
My softball team.
Yes, I do. I
See,
think you could.
The direction I was going was I thought you could be a baseball umpire and just make such egregious calls until somebody tackles
Until somebody
you.
fights me.
Yeah,
That's a much better
that
idea.
would go viral too. I think. So.
I think that's what I need to do.
That's hard because I'm sure the rest of the coaches are probably like, let's have good sportsmanship. You're playing. It's not about winning. And here you go. Your other coach is fighting.
Yeah, this guy's an idiot.
He's a dang fool.
I mean, you look so It's 11 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, your kid probably can't even really hit the ball. Is it coach pitch? Like, what is going on here? Are children even pitching it? This is crazy.
It looks more official. Like they can look like
They
they,
got
can
nice,
play.
They're
nice
11.
uniforms. There's
Yeah.
multiple umpires, but it's still like, what could you possibly be
Like,
that upset about?
11, I don't know what age, 11 years old. That's like 4th grade or something. I played baseball until like 3rd grade. I sucked. I still played because everybody played, and I don't remember a single game. And so whatever he's arguing about for his kid, in 10 years, your kid won't even remember. That's how not important it is. But he will remember forever you fighting an umpire. He would have never remembered that blown call. He will remember you forever fighting the umpire.
So what you're saying is this is building memories.
It is building
Yeah.
memories, and your dad also is a dang fool for the rest of your middle school, high school career. He's always going to be known as a hothead who's way too into the sports, way too
Well,
into
he
it.
could be. He just wanted to get out of coaching the baseball
Maybe.
team.
It's a good way to do it.
So this is
Nearly
a
a
way.
guarantee.
He signed up for a responsibility, and he's like, I just can't. How can you turn down this job? But yeah, it's true. I was thinking too. It's disappointing. This guy, he'd make a great manager in Major League Baseball, though.
Is this some fighting skills?
Those umpires need to be tackled. So I think he should he deserves a promotion, actually.
Hudson, I'm getting two conflicting messages. I don't know if I'm supposed to be fighting or
No,
not.
as long as it's Little League, the umpires are the good guys. When it's the pros,
They're
they're
bad.
always the bad guys. Always. Robots is what we need.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
We've got a update on John Morant from the NBA.
What did he do
Him
this
from
time?
the Memphis Grizzlies. He did a similar thing to what he got in trouble for previously, which is yesterday morning, he was caught on Instagram Live flashing a gun on camera.
So he's done that before, but I thought he did it another time before that, or it was at some sort of club where he has just continually been showing a gun somewhere.
He's been seen with a gun once.
Once?
I think the
Didn't he
two
do something
incidents.
else?
There was two incidents, right? One
did
was
something else.
he had the gun on Instagram Live prior to this, and the other time he got into some altercation, right?
I can't remember
Yeah.
now.
I don't even remember.
He's gotten in trouble twice.
What I know
and they both were
is
minor infractions.
that he was at a club in Colorado and he pulled out a gun. So that was when he got in trouble previously. Now this time they're saying already the Memphis Grizzlies are saying he's suspended currently from all team activities.
How is he not indefinitely suspended?
What do you mean?
Well, like forever, ever. How's he not off?
Well, what
the
did he
team?
do
what?
wrong?
Well, he showed the gun again. They
Well,
said
what-
don't do it.
Is it illegal to own a gun?
Well, what he's doing,
What?
he obviously can't handle it, guys.
He clearly
hasn't-
cannot be on video with a gun.
Yeah.
He just can't.
It's a
He's
known
not-
law. You can't
It's a
be-
known law. You can't be pictured with a gun.
It could be a Grizzlies law. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I
could
mean, it
be.
is.
They
It's
probably said,
it's-
"Don't do it
In
again."
his case, it's probably a law for him. It's stupid. It's dumb. I don't
It's
know
so
why he
dumb.
would do that. But at the same time, to like punish a guy for just having a gun.
If
on
I was his
video.
handler, I would have said, "I took that gun. Why do you have another one?"
Well,
I wouldn't let him on anything live.
he lives in Tennessee. Nobody can take his guns away.
And at this point, I would say you cannot be alone by yourself in the car.
He wasn't alone.
Yes.
What was he?
He's with a bunch of his friends.
Okay.
Not
They were
teammates.
just having a good time. The previous one was problem because he was like threatening somebody with it. So
Yes,
clearly that's an
what happened.
issue.
Didn't he like threaten the Indiana Pacers team or something? There was like a laser.
There was definitely something with the Pacers he had an issue with.
Some sort of red dot. I can't remember.
And then he had the incident at the club in Colorado. But he has threatened people with it before. This was not that. This is him. He was having a good time. For some reason, he thought, while I'm dancing in the car while we're all having a good time, you know what I should do is bring my gun out, even though I've gotten in trouble for having one in a threatening manner before. He should know better, but also he didn't actually do anything wrong.
Can you imagine if we were all just like the three of us, just like riding in the car together, listening to Radio U, and I'm just like, oh, let me whip out my gun and just fling it around. Like, this is so stupid. I don't understand.
That's basically exactly what happened, but it's not us. It was them. So when it cuts back to him, he was not on camera anymore for a bit. It was just with his friends, who don't seem like good choices for friends, but I'll leave
Clearly
that for your own interpretation. He pulled out the gun. He was waving it around.
For no reason.
The camera quickly moves off of him, and then when it goes back, he's not had the gun anymore. So he's taking a leave of absence from the team. They're making him.
Real question. Well, it's unfortunate because he,
Don't you dare say it's because he's a good player.
It is.
No, it is.
I mean, that's why he's still on the team. But.
No, but like we talked about this when he went through all the prior stuff, and we were hopeful that, he entered a counseling program and everything. It was like, hopefully he understands the gravity of the mistakes he's making, and he's got a family and stuff. Hopefully he'll get things on track. And
he's got a family, and he's just with his friends in the car waving a gun around.
Yeah.
What? How old is he?
I think he's like 22.
23, yeah.
He needs to grow up.
Younger than
you would think.
Yeah, you would think, but unfortunately, no, not yet.
So he's been suspended for this incident, but they don't know how long.
They're not even playing games. They've been long eliminated, so.
No, he needs some other punishment.
By the time the season rolls around, he'll be back in action.
Or will he have another problem?
He'll have something else.
I hope not.
At this point, I'd be surprised if he doesn't mess up again.
I guess so. Especially when messing up is doing something that's not even illegal.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Now, there's so many places you can complain online. Not the Worst of the Riot YouTube channel.
Save your complaining.
Don't complain there, but there's so many other places.
Even if it's about what you're listening to.
Yeah. In fact, there's even a site that's just for moms to complain. It's called Mumsnet.
What's that?
It sounds like Reddit for moms, particularly since it's mums. I'm guessing UK, where you can just, if you're a mom, you can go and just talk about whatever moms talk about. But I've got a great complaint here from one mom who was upset that her daughter was rejected after she went to tryouts for the school choir, right?
Yeah.
And the daughter got rejected.
From the choir?
Did not make the choir.
I thought choir was just like, we're glad you came.
Exactly.
Just let anybody
I think
in.
the same thing.
Maybe if you wanted a higher position part, but if not, you'd blend in.
Like show choir, like advanced choir stuff. There's different forms of choir, but just the regular choir, usually you just sign up.
Does it matter what age range we're talking about here?
Doesn't matter.
Because she says this was a year 7. Does that mean 7th grade?
Maybe. So
yeah,
that
probably close, right?
That would have just been choir.
Well, this daughter, this little girl, this 7th grader, was not good enough to make the choir. She failed at the audition, and so the mom is now complaining to anybody who will listen on Mumsnet that she doesn't think it's right that kids should be able to be rejected from choir. She thinks it's wrong.
Yeah.
All the other moms seem to disagree, though.
Well, again, it depends. I guess maybe this probably is a higher up choir that she was trying to go for, because you just don't get rejected from normal choir. I thought all schools had to encourage.
Do they hold auditions then for a regular? So then, yeah, clearly
it has to be an advanced choir.
This was like a serious choir.
But I don't think it is, though. Because she would understand if she got rejected from something she has to try out for.
Well, that's what everybody's trying to say.
But I think that she thinks that she doesn't think everyone can be in the special choir. I think this has to be the regular choir.
Well, she was saying that everybody's all singing in a group anyway, so they all should sound the same.
Doesn't work that way.
But if the choir is a smaller show choir, then you have to be good enough for that.
If she makes it clear that this gal was had to audition.
Yeah.
If you have to audition, that means you cannot get it. That's how.
Yeah, but should there be
what
auditions?
are for? Well, it depends what it's for.
Yeah, I think if this is for a regular choir, this is ridiculous because there should not be auditions for regular choir. Anyone should be able to sign up for that and sing in a huge group. There are people that were in my regular choir, including myself, that sucked at singing. And I was in choir from 7th grade to senior year of high school. Didn't matter if you were 9 or if you were 18 years old. If you wanted to be in choir, you could be in choir. They were just happy to have you in there. But if it's for like a show choir or something special, then yes, obviously there's auditions for that. But usually if you don't make show choir, then you're just in regular choir with all the other sucky people me.
That's not good enough for this 7th grader.
Plus, when you made it to like show choir, which I did for a bit, you would just go
flex on us.
Rub it in.
I auditioned and made it in, but then we had such a bad attitude. You just lip sync during the whole time you're supposed to be singing.
How come you never sing on the show?
Oh, we're not doing
so
that.
Good.
You're great. I like to hear your style.
Hudson was in homeschool show choir. He didn't have to try out for that either.
I made it into a couple choirs in my day. I want to hear more about your choir days.
Oh, I was killer, man. I was good.
They're just supposed to let anybody in. But, I mean, again, if you were trying something more or like you had a position in the choir, then you were the one actually singing, then probably not. You just can't make it in.
Man, I'm learning so much about these school choirs.
It was cutthroat.
And it's messed up if it's regular choir for 7th grade, you get to have tryouts. That's
that was
crazy.
all during, remember the show Glee? You know, like everybody wanted to be in a choir at that time.
That's right.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.